Hi everyone, this is Sam with Wine News in 5. I'm so happy to be back and catching up on news, but before I get to global news, a couple announcements from us. On Sunday, November 16th, from 6:30 to 9 p.m., we'll be holding a 25th anniversary celebration in London at Caravan King's Cross. The event will feature 50 excellent sparkling wines, half champagne, half English fizz, as well as canapes. Jancis, Julia, Tara, and I will be there with our party hats on. In addition to celebrating our 25th anniversary, I would also like to take a moment to celebrate the fact that JancisRobinson.com was voted the most consulted wine media in a poll taken for 67 Pall Mall's London Fine Wine Trends Report. 67 Pall Mall is a private members club with over 10,000 members, 3,800 of whom are part of the London Club. Most members of 67 Pall Mall have made wine a very big part of their life, and it means the world to us that they trust our team's recommendations over any other site. In terms of global news, today I'll discuss the Michelin Guide's announcement that they'll be launching a global wine ranking system, a new grape variety authorized for Champagne, a new Vino de Pago for Spain, New Zealand's wine exports, France's new yield estimate, and new research on how bacterial injections can help fight esca, a grapevine trunk disease. First up, the Michelin Guide's move into wine ranking. On October 8th, Gwendol Polanek, head of the Michelin Guide, announced at a Michelin Key Awards ceremony in Paris that the company would be launching a wine guide, which is confusing, seeing as Michelin already owns The Wine Advocate, a publication originally started by Robert Parker. Michelin CEO Florent Menegaux was quoted by La Revue du Vin de France stating that the Michelin brand is much stronger than the Wine Advocate brand, but that the new guide is not intended to replace the Advocate. My question is, how is Michelin intending to do this? As our Alder Yarrow rightly points out on his blog Vinography, if Michelin isn't going to leverage Wine Advocate's content, they'll have to start reviewing from scratch. He also points out that Michelin hotel and restaurant reviews are free. Will their wine reviews also be free? Next, a new grape variety for Champagne. On October 16th, the Comité Champagne announced via press release authorization of Chardonnay Rose for production of Champagne. Chardonnay Rose is a natural mutation of Chardonnay Blanc that has been part of the French National Institute for Agricultural Research's National Grapevine Collection since 1950. This variety was selected by the Comité Champagne because of, and I quote, commitment to genetic diversity, its plant heritage, and its ability to adapt to climate challenges. Chardonnay Rose joins three main grape varieties, Chardonnay Blanc, Pinot Noir, and Meunier, and four less used varieties, Arbegne, Petit Meslier, Pinot Blanc, and Pinot Gris, in being approved for Champagne. On to a new Vino de Pago for Spain. On October 2nd, the European Union recognized a new Vino de Pago for Spain, Vino de Pago Tharsis. A Vino de Pago is a single vineyard that's recognized as being of such high quality that it merits its own denominación de origen, its own DO. Because of this legal structure, these are sometimes referred to as Spanish Grand Crus. However, unlike Grand Crus, a Vino de Pago must be owned by the winery that makes the wine. At present, there are 28 Vinos de Pago in Spain. This latest, Pago de Tharsis, is entirely within Útil Requena Dio in Valencia and is owned by a winery named Pago de Tharsis. The estate produces red, white, rosé, and sparkling wines from 14 hectares, 35 acres of vineyards. Next, a robbery of Ukrainian wines in the UK. On October 13th, a lorry containing 12 pallets of wine belonging to the Ukrainian Wine Company UK was robbed while parked in a CCTV monitored parking area in London. The thieves stole 5 pallets worth of wine, focusing specifically on sparkling wine. While there is CCTV footage of the whole thing, the Metropolitan Police have said they won't be getting involved because of insufficient evidence. According to an IG post by the company, police declined to make even an inspection. Now, I don't know about you, but I feel like video footage is pretty good evidence. The company is asking London wine lovers to keep their eyes peeled for Ukrainian wine being sold in suspicious places and to keep them in the loop. If you'd like to support them, you can buy directly from their site at uawines.co.uk. I'll link that in the transcript. On to New Zealand's wine exports. New Zealand is the world's 13th largest wine producer by volume, and on September 29th, New Zealand wine growers released their annual report. Exports account for 90% of New Zealand's wine sales, totaling over 2 billion New Zealand dollars. Total exports by value have dropped slightly by 1% year on year, driven largely by sluggish sales in New Zealand's three largest markets, the US, UK, and Australia. Total exports by volume have increased by 5%, which combined with the value decline, this indicates demand for more affordable wines. Exports by value to China have grown 47%, and to South Korea have grown 92%. While slightly down in overall sales, New Zealand's wine market is still in a much healthier place than most wine-producing countries. Next, France's new yield estimate. At the beginning of August, France's Ministry of Agriculture predicted that 2025 would yield 40 to 42.5 million hectoliters of wine. After a month of severe heat, they revised that estimate down to 37.4 million hectoliters. On October 7th, they brought the estimate down to 36.04 million hectoliters, dipping below the already painfully low yields of 2024. Finally, new research on how bacterial injections can help fight esca. Esca is a fungal vine infection which was treated with the highly toxic and carcinogenic compound sodium arsenite until that was banned in 2001. Since then, esca infections have steadily increased in vineyards to the point that in 2023, the fungus was found to have rendered 12% of French vineyards unproductive. In April 2023, the French National Research Agency, ANR, the University of Pau and Pays d'Or, Hennessy, Biocontrol Specialist Green Cell, University of Bordeaux, Bordeaux INP, which is a technical education institute, Bordeaux Sciences Agro, INSERM, the National Institute of Health and Research, INRAE, the National Research Institute for Agriculture, and the University of Reims pooled funds to launch WINESCA, which is a chair for researching solutions to esca. Since then, experiments have been underway. On October 13th, Vitisphere announced that one of these experiments has seen some success. Last year, postdoctoral fellow Wiza Mesgida selected 3 strains of bacteria that she found to be capable of degrading the fungus associated with esca, and she began injecting high concentrations of these bacteria into the trunks of esca-infected vines. This year, vines injected with the bacteria showed a 30 to 40% decline in the severity of symptoms related to esca. Researchers have injected affected vines with a second dose of bacteria to observe if the symptoms continue to diminish. Personally, I think it's both wild and very cool that we're giving vines the equivalent of vaccinations. That's all for this episode of the Wine News. If you enjoy this newscast and you'd like to see it continue, please become a member of jancesrobinson.com. And if you have breaking news in your area, please email news@jancesrobinson.com.